Hello everyone, welcome to the Clarity, Supportability, and Feature Training. My name is Bill Yee. Today we're going to cover the CSV import for custom master object and the improved error handling for Clarity 16.1.1. So the CSV import for custom master objects is still beta, but we've added enhancements related to the error handling. And one of the things that's new for this particular release is that we improve the import status messages. So we give you a dialog of the successful warning and error messages that happened after the import. We've also provided a way in where if there are errors that happened during the import, end users can download a CSV error file which lists the records that didn't get imported, but also row by row in terms of getting why that particular row was had issues as part of the import and with what needs to be corrected. So why are these enhancements important to the end user? Well, it's great when you're doing an import and everything works successfully, but when you encounter issues and trying to resolve those issues, that can be a challenge for end users. And particularly, trying to convey what error messages or for what records, it will be also challenging if you're trying to do it from the UI. So we think the approach of actually, when you have errors, put inside a CSV file so an end user can look at and evaluate it at their leisure in their own time is a much better experience. And we took it a step further, is that with that it's a CSV file, they're able to, and we provided the delta for what those error messages. They were able to edit and update and correct just that error file, and they can re-import that back in, saving the end user time trying to update their source file and trying to find which ones were successful versus not. So we feel these are great enhancements for our end users. So let's go into a little more detail on what has changed for this release. Now, we've always displayed a dialog message after the import, but we enhanced that dialog to display the number of successful records, the number of records that had warnings being the record was still imported, but we found some discrepancies, and a number of errors being that the record was not imported and it will be part of the CSV error export file. Let me cover a little more detail on the warnings. So one example you'll get a warning is that you're trying to import a row that and one of the columns has a data type that's not supported. For example, TSVs are not supported as part of the CSV import. And we'll give a warning that we still imported the record, but for that particular column, for that TSV record, you have to go in manually and update those fields. Now, in that dialog as well, we provide a link to download the CSV error file that you can take off and review offline. But given in a dialog, you may close it accidentally or you may just forget to download it. We've also we send you a notification similar to when you, as part of the CSV export, when you're exporting a large number of rows, it will send you a notification you can download that CSV export file. Well, same way, we'll send you a notification. Now you're able to download the CSV error file that you can go ahead and update, and then you can reload that error file after making your changes and fixes for those records. That CSV error file, just like the CSV export file, will stay there for 7 days. After that, the system will clean up and remove both the CSV error file and the notification. So here's an example of a dialog that has successful warning and error messages. And so let me show you what we have. The top portion, it explains the number of successful. So it has 5 of the 6 records we tried to import were successful, and then also gives the file that we tried to import at that particular time. It has the color blue in the background. If you have a warning message, it has the warning icon, plus it has the kind of a yellow background. And here it's telling me that there were certain fields or columns inside the CSV import file that we do not support. The fulfillment percentage, the period, the conversations, and the key results and description columns are not supported. So those records were still imported, but those field attributes or columns were not supported, and you need to go inside and update them manually within Clarity. And then one of the records is that we had an error with. It will be part of that CSV error file, and that's what gives us sort of the red triangle and the red background as part of that dialog. In addition, from the dialog, you're able to download the CSV error file. So that's one of the ways of getting the CSV error file, and we're going to also cover as well. It's available also too under the bell icon. So here's a screenshot of the notification you'll get if you had errors as part of your import. And as I mentioned, it's similar to the CSV export. When you export in a large number of records, you'll see the kind of the download link here regarding where you can download the CSV error file. You had particular errors, and with it tells you when to download it by. You have 7 days from the day you did the import. Now, one thing to note is that if you had no errors, you don't get any notification we sent to you. So if everything was successful, you will only get a notification if you had errors that occurred as part of your import. So let's discuss the CSV import error file. So here I have a screenshot of a CSV import error file and its corresponding CSV import file where the errors were generated from. So the first item is that in the CSV import error file, it contains the entire row that was from the CSV import file. And for that, you can actually use the CSV import error file, which because it's a CSV, to re-import that record back into Clarity after you have corrected the errors. So how do you find out what the errors are? What happens in the CSV error file, we append 2 columns. One is the original row number, and this corresponds to the CSV import file. So in this example, the row number is 3 and refers to the Excel row number in the CSV error file. And the next one is the error detail column. It gives you a description of what the error is. So in this example, the ID is too large. It should be it's a maximum size of 30, and this current value is greater than 30. Now, one thing to note is in the error detail, we can only give one error message per row. So if you have multiple issues related to that particular row, it would only give you one error message. And usually it's from left to right regarding the issues related to the row, but it may not be exactly depending on how things are processed on the back end. And as a tip is to use that CSV import file as a way to re-import those records you had issues with, because for one, it has the delta of those records that you didn't import, and you don't need to scrub the import file and remove the ones that got imported. You already have that already generated list. Just fix the issues in the CSV import file, try it again, and it'll make your imports process easier. So let me give you a demonstration of the CSV import error handling so you can see it in action. So I'm going to give a demonstration of the improve error messages as part of the CSV import. So what I'm going to do is to re-import the records within this grid, but the CSV import file will have issues with it, so you can see the improve error messages. So with that, let's do a CSV import. I'll select my CSV import file. And here in the dialog is some of the improved error messages that we had. So first we give shows you how many records were imported successfully in the top box. The second box with the warning icon, it tells you the columns. The records were imported successfully, but these particular columns the values didn't get carried over and imported inside Clarity, and they need to be updated manually. The fulfillment percentage or key results are calculated fields. The conversations a system field, which are not they are not supported as part of CSV import, and OBS is not supported as part of CSV import at this time. And the last box is in red with the red triangle, says that there was one row that had errors. So within the dialog, you can download and view the CSV error file. So if you click it, and we can go ahead and view this in Excel, you'll see that it has exported the entire row from the CSV import file and has appended 2 rows at the end, one being the original row number, which refers to the row inside the CSV import file, and it gives a description on why this had an error. Now this one says that the ID is too large, greater than 30, and this is what you need to fix. So let's use this file to re-import, but first we need to fix it. So let's first correct the ID, and with this one we'll correct the ID here. And then also let's remove the columns that caused warning messages within the in the message dialog, and we'll also remove the error columns since we won't need those. So with that, let's go ahead and save this record. Let's close this out. Let's go ahead and re-import the error file we just updated. So we'll select it. And that one record was successfully processed. And this concludes my demo. This concludes our presentation and demonstration of the CSV import updates. Thank you.